Hi, I'm Skilla, and this is Nerd Stuff with Skilla, and last night I went to see Thor Ragnarok. If you haven't seen the movie, you may want to go watch it before you watch this video, because I'm sure I will spoil something for somebody. I'll try not to get super in-depth on a lot of things, but I also know myself and I'll probably ramble off and talk about something that is in the movie that you don't know about. I really liked this movie. I thought it was so much fun. It was really funny in a lot of places, and the action was so good. It was a lot of the fight scenes in the movie are just so easy to watch. There is one fight scene with Hela where the CG is kind of readable, but it didn't stop me from enjoying the scene at all. There are some other CG elements where they could have dialed back a little bit, but overall, I thought all of the action was really fun, particularly the fight between Thor and Hulk. The humor in this movie, I was laughing through most of it. There were a couple of jokes that fell flat, but not enough for it to matter. Every comedy movie is going to have a couple of moments that aren't your favorite. I like that we got to see more of Hulk. Hulk speaks in this movie. He has conversations in this movie. And they did a good job of it. I felt like I was watching the Hulk that I grew up with. Thor was very Thor in this movie. He was speaking the way, not quite as loftily as he speaks in the comics, I suppose. Not only do we get some really nicely interwoven MCU characters into this movie, we get Jeff Goldblum at his Goldblumiest, and we get a baby Hemsworth to boot. It's so much fun. This is one of my favorite Stan Lee cameos, because I think he's on screen longer than most of them, besides what he's doing in the scene. I thought was really fun. I really like that it's super colorful. It's almost more colorful than Guardians of the Galaxy was, and that is saying a lot. Now, some of the locations are less colorful, but they make up for that by being very vibrant in their action. Some of the storytelling bits where Cate Blanchett's character is describing why she went away and what things were like before the brothers were born, they do it in a very 300 kind of way. If you've seen both movies, you probably know what I'm talking about, but kind of the storybook version of the story playing over the exposition dialogue. And I thought that looked really nice as well. The world is so bright and colorful. For a huge portion of this movie, they are not in Asgard. They're on Sakaar, and it's run by the Grand Master, who is related to the Collector, and they both in makeup look very similar. And I really hope they set that up to knock it down. I hope that they have the two of them meet in a movie in the future, because I think that'll be really fun to watch. Oh, cameo after cameo, there's some really good ones. We saw Black Widow for a second, even though it was a previously recorded scene. See Doctor Strange, and again, part of that has already been seen. Odin, even though Odin's only in the movie for a very small amount of time, and I feel like his send-off could have been more grandiose, so maybe it's just because he's not actually gone. I'd like to see if he came back, or maybe he was living on through Thor, since Thor lost his eye and now looks more like Odin. Maybe that's kind of where they're going with it. Loki was so Loki in this movie. I loved Hiddles in this. He was so great. And for all the ladies out there, he's in an all-black suit with his fine self, and it's adorable. There's a lot of eye candy in this movie. Regardless of which gender you're attracted to, there's a lot of eye candy, for sure. Two main females in this movie are both in skin-tight clothing through most of it, and they're both interesting characters, I think. Hela was a badass. I really liked, her helmet may have been maybe a little bit too much, but I didn't have a problem with it. I could just see that as something that somebody might be annoyed by, but it didn't bother me at all. I thought it was cool. I like that she's always slicking back her hair. Come on, Cate Blanchett. She's a scary lady. You don't want to mess with her. She crushed Thor's hammer with her hand, and she is the goddess of death. She brings back this whole horde of zombie Asgardians, which didn't always look fantastic, but was a cool way for her to actually present a threat rather than just mowing down gigantic groups of people on her own, which she did in one of her first scenes. And we see all of Thor's besties, other than Sif, get killed immediately. This is easily the best Thor movie, I think. I don't know how you could argue otherwise. The two of them together, Hulk and Thor together, are a great buddy comedy movie. And even when Hulk goes away and it's Bruce Banner for a while, I feel like we really saw a lot better representation of Bruce Banner in this movie than we have in previous movies. And he did a really good job kind of coming out of being the Hulk for 2 whole years. That's crazy. He's just trying not to go green again. We see cameos from Matt Damon and Baby Hemsworth in a play within a play scene. Thor realizing that Loki is playing Odin was pretty cool. Loki being the trickster that he is, all the things that he does throughout this movie. There's no way he walked out of there without that Tesseract. You know that happened. Even though it cut away before we see him actually stick it in a pocket or something, like, definitely that happened. That is something that will come back up. Period. As long as you go into it knowing it's an action comedy, I don't really see what you could complain about too hard on it. It's a superhero movie that does it good. It's colorful, it's fun, it's funny. The action is fun to watch. The action is followable, which is really important. We've seen other failures in the MCU where the action is just too much garbage going on, where you just don't really know what's going on. The after credit scenes were fun. There are 2. So if you watched it and you only sat through one of them, there was a second one after the credits. The sound design in this movie was really fun. The immigrant song gets played a couple of times, and it's played in perfect spots. And that, I don't know, I mean, maybe they have used it in previous Thor movies, but I don't remember that. And I've seen both of them. So this song, like, was made for Thor, you know? Robert Plant was like, someday. I'm all about it. I think this was great. Very few, like, minor things I could complain about, but as far as superhero movies go, if there's just very few minor things that you can complain about, you are on the right track. And I like that MCU is trying to divert a little bit and change around a little bit. We know that some comedy works in these movies, and if you can do a really well done comedic action film that's a superhero movie, and you can also do a really good, like, spy drama like Winter Soldier, right? And you can do a really fun all of that together movie, then you are building a legacy. You're doing a great job if that's how this works. Some of them are funny, some of them are dramatic, some of them are just action, and I think Black Panther is going to be like action all day. I am so excited about Black Panther. I think it's going to be fantastic. It got the job done that it wanted to get done. It was enjoyable through the whole thing. I was never bored. I was never annoyed really with any of the characters. Like, Scourge is kind of annoying, but, like, it didn't, if they had, like, added one more Scourge scene in there, I probably would have been like, okay, we're over this. But overall, I think I'd say 5 out of 5 stars. It is a really good superhero movie. As long as you don't have to have a perfect storytelling, this movie is really, really good. If not 5 stars, like 4.75. Just because I have a couple of nitpicks, but every movie is going to have a couple of nitpicks. Drop a comment down below with how you felt about Thor Ragnarok. Give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to hear about more nerdy stuff from me. And as always, thank you so much for watching.